Hey, what's going on, YouTube? It's Dave here. How are you? Thank you for coming by Surviving New England. I'm gonna jump right into this. That way, people don't click right off the video because it's boring. People on these survival channels, I'm not naming any names or pointing anybody out because I watch these channels. I'm a fan of survival channels. I'm a fan of bushcraft, of making your own, canning your own foods, having the ability to grow your own food and purifying water, and I love knives and hatchets and saws, um, all that kind of stuff. I just love all the outdoor stuff, and I've been a prepper, I guess you could call it, but someone who's prepared. I want to be prepared for an emergency. Some of these channels right now are putting out some crazy stuff for us to watch. Now, admittedly, there is some weird happenings going on in our country. Strange things. Just recently, I'm on the northeast coast up in New England, and I got a emergency message on my phone that said 911 is unavailable. It doesn't work. I don't know what that's all about. Very strange type thing. I've never seen that before. My phone gets a lot of these different kinds of messages about a storm coming or street flooding or, stuff like that, high wind warnings and stuff. That's the first I've ever seen anything like that on my phone that is telling me that a service that is there to help us as a society in this country is not available, no longer available for you. Now, you could call your local police station or your local fire department and stuff like that, but strange, very strange that happened. And I am hearing that up here in the Northeast, in New England, that's not the only area that it happened. I heard something about Washington and stuff like that, a couple other areas that it happened. Then you've got these strange happenings in New York the other night where supposedly a transformer blew up and the whole sky was lighting up for 45 minutes. Some kind of crazy blue lights or something was going on. So supposedly it was a transformer. Take that with a grain of salt because whatever it was, I don't think anybody's going to really tell us what it was. I don't know if it was a nefarious thing, if something, something crazy's going on. I don't know. But I think there's been a culmination of things, of events that have been happening over the past few years that have been getting closer and closer together. These certain things that are happening around the country and around the globe that make me nervous. And you got to be careful watching some of these prepping videos or these fear videos. I've done a couple myself. I did one that 90% of the population of the country will die if there's a power outage for a year. That's a scary thing, but it's true. I had another video, urgent message. It was when the Washington Post had put out something about the power being out for 6 months, and that as we should be prepared as a country to be self-sustaining and have enough food and water for 3 weeks or something that was said, which doesn't make any sense to me. If the electricity's out for a long period of time, guys, we're in serious, dire straits. You cannot recover from a power outage. We are so dependent on electricity in this country that it's sickening. And I am one of those people that is dependent on electricity. I myself preach being prepared. I have a friend of mine, and we often will have this conversation, and it ends with him shaking his head and doing nothing about it. I won't say his name. You know who you are. He doesn't want to know. He wants to bury his head in the sand. He doesn't even want to hear it. And I try to explain to him, at least have some items in your home for at least a couple of weeks without power. Listen, this guy, and I tell him, you got a spare tire in your car. Why would you have a spare tire? You're not going to get a flat, right? Well, that's just in case. So he's got his car insurance, just in case he gets into an accident. He may never get into an accident, but he has it because from what he says, it's the law. He does not want to hear it, and that frustrates me because if something ever happens, and I've said it a million times, I'd rather have my preps and never use them or never need them than desperately need a water purifier and not have one. To have to boil all of your water. I mean, I believe it's a gallon a day per person, and that's not including cleaning and stuff like that, and cooking. Never mind what you consume to keep yourself alive as far as water. So I know that there's people out there that see these videos or hear these messages from people that you must prepare now. Doom is imminent and the sky is falling. Listen, our society can't sustain at the rate we are going with the electricity and the power that we consume and the natural resources that we use up and convert into a light switch in your home. We can't keep it up. I'm not saying it's going to happen a year from now, 25 years from now. All I believe, my own self, is that I'd rather have something on hand to keep my family comfortable and safe for at least until I can figure out my next move. So if you have enough food and water, say, for a couple of weeks, you're better off than a lot of people. It's very important to just start small and get these little things. But anyways, going back to these channels on YouTube that are really spouting some crazy stuff, that we've got 3 days, and there's going to be a market correction or a monetary system collapse. I don't know about all that. And if that happens, I'm not fully prepared for it either. A year's supply of food for one person is like a lot of weight in itself. It's like 3,000 pounds, or I don't know. You can probably do better than that, but I'm saying just a year's supply of food for one person, you need a whole room for that. If you have a family of 4, you're talking about an entire living room stacked to the ceiling with food and water. And so when you think about that, you just throw your hands up. It's like, well, I can't do that. What you can do is start small. Start with some foods, non-perishable items, and kind of rotate them. I'm not going to get into all of that now, how to do it, and canned foods, but there are foods that have long shelf lives that just look for the expiration date and stockpile a little bit of it. If you have money, you can, you don't have to be rich, but freeze-dried foods are a fantastic option. I've got quite a bit of them. I buy 1 or 2 per week, and I sometimes you use them hiking and stuff like that and camping, but they're good until 2042 on some of the expiration date on some of these, and even then, that's just for flavor. I'm sure it could last a lot longer than that. It's a little bit of a peace of mind. So going back to my buddy who just refuses to even think about it, it's where to start, okay? It's where do you begin with this whole thing? Well, you begin by at least recognizing that you're not prepared. That's your first step. Recognize that you're not ready for an emergency. People have flashlights and batteries in their junk drawer in their kitchen, and I'm sure you do as well. That's it, believe it or not, that's a beginning right there. That junk drawer is the beginning of prepping, being prepared. So I wanted to put that out there, guys, and have this little conversation with you guys. And let me know in the comments if you think it's outrageous to think that our electric grid or our economy or something like that could fail and we're going to be left in the dark. And I'm not even going to bring up the topic of the bathroom, of running water. That is an entirely another video. Imagine not having a bathroom, having nowhere to use the facilities is a nightmare. Disease comes from that. There is so much wrong with that whole scenario. Everybody can turn their faucet on in their bathroom and flush their toilet, and everything goes away, and you don't even have to deal with it. Imagine that the pumps that run the water up into your bathroom are not running, and you have no running water. And listen, start small. Some of these channels out there that are scaring the hell out of people, I don't blame them a little bit, but some of it, they really, it's fear porn, we're going to call that they're trying to scare everybody. Well, if that's what it takes to get some people to be prepared, then you should be scared. If you're completely going to be blindsided by a power outage for 2 weeks, you are in serious trouble. Easy to begin now. Start really small. I'm going to go for a hike. I got about an hour and a half left of daylight, and I kind of just sat here and parked. I was getting ready to hop out, and I decided I wanted to make this video because of some of the strange happenings that have been going on lately in my at least in my area. Thank you guys so much for clicking, and I will definitely see you on the next one.